All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Ruach HaKodesh. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who does lead and rule well. Salutations to all you hopeful like Akim pushing out this word in truth and in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And sincere shalom also to you, Akim and Aqua, for listening and learning, preparing ourselves here in these last days. All right, and to the entire household of faith, fighting this good fight of faith. I want to say shalom. This is your brother Duquar from the DC camp. Come back at you with another lesson. And I'm entitled this one, The Promises of the Most High. And this was inspired by a lesson I was watching from the elder Yasha Wamba in Dallas, Remnant Saved, 144. You also catch Remnant Saved 144 Ba. He posts on there. The elder Ariala posts on there. But it was a lesson where he was talking about holding the Most High to his word, man. You had I was gonna do a land back off of that video. What this is a land back, but like a response. Pretty much just going into some of the examples of when men in the scriptures, will hold the Most High to his promises, man. Because the Most High is bound by his word. And we have an assurance of his promises, especially through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, his son, whom he's already sent. He testified of him, he sent him, and he died, okay? His life was exactly like I said it was. He died and rose again, all right? And you gotta, if you're a follower of the anointed, that is the core foundation of this belief. So if he did all that, why then wouldn't he do the rest of the promises? Why wouldn't he fulfill those promises, man? And that's what I'm going to get into in this lesson, is talking about those specific promises, all right? Or some of the promises, man, because he made a lot of promises, man, and every last one of them is going to come to pass. In fact, the first one I'm going to get is, then I'll jump to the ones that I wanted, was Proverbs 30, verse... I'm going to just read 30 verse 5. It says, every word of the Most High is pure. He is a shield of them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. All right. And this is how you know, man. And when I get into these promises, you'll see this is how you know that, no matter what these dudes say, they try to make us look bad, anything, we always divert things back to the scriptures. Can you deal with us when it comes to the scriptures? Because the very fact of you saying that salvation is open to all these nations will mean that the promises of that the Most High made to Yasharallah, Israel, is of none effect. And I'm talking about the real Israel. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, anybody else, that come from that line, because we have been scattered. But those promises was made to a specific seed, all right, the seed of Abraham, the seed of Isaac, and the seed of Jacob, and that's where it rested, all right? So until those promises be fulfilled, that's what our faith is about. But those are those promises, and they have to come to pass. And adding other nations to those promises will make that promise not real. This is why the Lord said he's saving us for his name's sake, for his reputation's sake. All right. So before I get the other scripture, let me see if I got a comparison here that I would like. This is the NLT, the New Living Translation. It says in Proverbs 30 and 5, it says, every word of the Most High proves true. He is a shield to all who come to him for protection. All right. And that's why, we are also reassured that if we follow what the Lord say to do, he's going to protect us, man. He said it. He made a promise. He said, if we keep his word, all right, then he will keep us from the hour of temptation. That's a promise. The Lord said he's not forgetful to forget our work and our labor of love, man. That we're going to be rewarded for that, man. Okay, he said that what? He said that his servants shall eat. So he's going to give us provision. He's going to give us protection. And he's going to ultimately save us, man. Because before we get saved, man, we gotta go through the fire, man. We gotta go through the testing. But all along the way, he's what? He's gonna provide a way for us to make it through that temptation, man. You know, and that's the benefit of following the Lord. You people out there, you don't think that there's a profit of following the Lord? There's no profit in you following the Lord? You're an idiot, man. Because you ain't gonna be able to save yourself, no money, nothing. Praying to him at the last second, none of that shit gonna work, man. Okay? So anyways, this is Numbers, what is it? 23 in verse 19. Now this is Balaam talking, you know, talking to Balak. You know, and the Lord was dealing with him. But this is what he said of Israel. Okay. It says, the Most High is not a man that he shall lie, neither the Son of Man that he shall repent. Have he said, and shall he not do it? Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good? Meaning it's going to happen. Anything that the Lord says is going to happen, it's going to happen, man. And it's going to do and prosper in the way that he said it. Because he is the Most High. He controls everything. There's no actions in the planet Earth that he don't know about, that he ain't controlling, that he don't got his hands in, man. Yeah, even the wicked. You know? And that's what this faith is about, man. You got to really believe in this stuff, man. All right? But it says, behold, I have received commandment to bless, and he have blessed it, and I cannot reverse it. We're talking about Israel. He have not beheld iniquity in Jacob, neither have he seen perverseness in Israel. Yahweh, his power is with him, and the shout of the king is among them. So look, because he was trying to get him. Balak was trying to get him to curse Israel. And you can't. Yeah. So it's nothing that you people can do to try to change us being the Lord's chosen, you know, and the Lord not defending them. We know that the Lord is going to defend his elect. The prophecy say 2/3 of our people going to die here in this land, in Babylon the Great. So we know a lot of our people going to fall by the sword, by pestilence, by famines, but he's still going to save that remnant. And y'all going to see it. Okay. It was something else I seen. Let me keep reading. It says, the Most High brought them out of Egypt. Again, talking about that seed. He have as it were the strength of an unicorn. Surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time it shall be said of Jacob and of Israel, what have the Most High wrought? Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion, and shall lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink of the blood of the slain. All right. So this is talking about the future stance or the future position of the Israelites, man. You know. So again, the king, he wanted Balak, the king of Moab, I believe is the king of Moab. Yeah, he wanted him to curse Israel, man. You know, I'm gonna read up. I'm gonna go up some. This is Numbers 23 and 8. It says, "How shall I curse whom the Most High have not cursed, or how shall I defy whom the Most High Yahweh have not defied? For from the tops of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone." You see that? The people going to dwell alone, man. You know? We should not give our glory into another. It says, "And shall not be reckoned among the nations. Who can count the dust of Jacob and the number of the fourth part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous, and let my end be like this. Because that's what who wouldn't want that? This is why you people trying to act like us now. You know? But here's the thing. You doing everything opposite. You planning and fulfilling a lot of the wicked. You know who I'm talking about when I'm talking about you-ish. You know? So, yeah. I think that's all I want on that chapter. Then I'm going to get another one. Then I'll get some of these promises. All right. Now, these is just the assurances of the promises, letting you know that if the Lord said it, it's going to happen, man. Like the Most High, look, because you know how you got, we made, first of all, we made a covenant with the Most High. All right. And that's the whole thing about the new covenant, too. But the Most High is true to his word, man. He's a man of his, well, not a man, but he's like they say in the world, a man of his word, man. You know, that's that self-integrity, that righteousness, that comes from self, man. And he's the greatest of it. What I said, Hebrews 6. All right. This is Hebrews 6, and I'm gonna start at 9, but I'll read a little quick. It says, "But beloved, we are persuaded better things of you, and things that accompany salvation, though we thus speak. For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed towards his name, and that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister." So that, look, again, don't ever think that what we doing when we going out here, laboring week in and week out, daily even, because you got to study, you got to put up these videos, in the midst of doing everything else you got to do this, and you got to put this first, man. And that's a work that the Lord understands is a work, especially being in his flesh, okay? But that's a part of the redeeming the times. But he that ministry, you ministering to his saints and still ministering, that's not a light thing when it comes to the Lord. All right, it says, "And we desire that every one of you do show the same diligence to the full assurance of hope unto the end." Because you got to endure until the end. You got a lot of people that's falling out of this thing, that's bugging out, all right, and some being made public, man, But you just keep your head down and you keep working, man. You block out the distractions. You just keep working, because that's our hope. And that when we receive, and when we if we able to endure until the end, that's how we're going to be saved. That's how we're going to receive salvation, a spot on that chariot, and then to get crowned, and then be ruling with the Lord. This is what it's about, man. But you have to, as it said, be diligent. You have to work. All right. It says that ye be not slothful, but followers of them who through faith and patience inherit the promises, and that of them, beginning with our apostles and elders on down. In fact, I'm gonna save that scripture because I want to do a lesson on these guys, man. Because you got people that wanted to be willful, and now they ain't making it, man. But when you got examples, the Lord gave us examples. It was for your profit, for your benefit. Okay? As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm going to save this real quick. Yeah, let's see. I just lost my spot. No. Okay, I'm back. Let's keep reading. It says, "For when the Most High made promise to Abraham, he could swear by no greater, For when the Most High made promise to Abraham, because he could swear by no greater, he swore by himself, saying, surely blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thee. Yeah, was Abraham the only man in the planet Earth? You know, at the time? No, he was not. But that's who the Lord spoke to and was dealing with and made that promise to from that man's lineage. Okay? It said a seed. It says saying, well, I read that. Verse 15, it says, and so after he had patiently endured, he obtained the promise. For men verily swear by the greater, and an oath for confirmation is to them an end of all strife, wherein the Most High, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath, that by two immutable things in which it was impossible for the Most High to lie, we might have a strong consolation, who have fled for refuge to lay hold upon the hope set before us. And that's what that's what we doing, man. You know? Yeah, we're no longer doing, following after our own dreams and doing what we wanted to do. We doing what the Lord told us to do. And that is our hope. And it keeps saying, wait, I'll keep going. It says, which hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which entereth into that within the veil, But yeah, man, we got that's the hope. That the promises which hinges off of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. It says, whether the forerunner is for us entered even Yahweh Shai. That was the priest. Like in the past, the priest will have to go first for himself and then for the rest of the people. And that's what he's did, man. And he's made a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. All right, now we all gonna be able to be kings and priests, man. Again, hey, I wholeheartedly believe Yahweh Shai is at the right hand side of the Father. And we believe in the testimonies. All right, but let me get some of these promises, man. Starting with this Yahweh Shai. I'll get that since I was already talking about it. Galatians 3. And I'm going to start at 15. It says, brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or addeth thereto. Now to Abraham and his seed were the promises made. Okay, it keeps saying that, and look, Christianity tries to like just overlook that. It said to Abraham and his seed, all right, were the promises made. He saith not, and to the seeds as of many, but as of one, and to thy seed, which is Hamashiach, because that's where it starts from. How Shai makes this possible, That's the promises. The same thing he made them that promise to David, that his kingdom is still going to be through his seed. It says, and this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of the Most High Hamashiach, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul, that it should make the promise of none effect. All right, and that's why the Lord had to send Yahweh Shai, because we couldn't even keep the law, but that wasn't going to stop. Like, we couldn't keep it. We were imperfect. But that's not going to stop us from inheriting the promises that the Lord said he was going to give from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on down, man, of the rest of the Israelites. It says, for if the inheritance be of the law, it is no more of promise, but the Most High gave it to Abraham by promise. All right. So that's the thing. Get this one more. I'll look it up real quick. I want to do. Come on. I'm gonna just keep going. What I had. I can't find what I was looking for. I think let me get this. First Samuel's just no. Second Samuel's the 7th chapter. All right. Now this is the Most High's covenant with David. It says, yeah, 2 Samuel 7 verse 8 says, now therefore thou so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith Yahweh of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel. And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight. Again, showing that separation, right, between who the Lord favors. It says, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, and will plant them, that they may dwell in their own, in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore as before time. See, that's that peace that we're looking for, man. You know, the Lord was establishing that, you know, that same kingdom, the kingdom of Israel in David, and then through Solomon, and we had that period of peace. So we looking for that to be restored, but even on a way greater level, man, where the law is going to be in our inward parts. We're not going to, you know, we won't be attacked anymore. It said neither the children of wickedness afflict them anymore, as they done before time, as they doing now, man, as they did before then, right? It says, and as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thy enemies, also Yahweh telleth thee that he will make thee an house. All right, and when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will put up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of the bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. Okay, and this is the kingdom of Israel. All right, then it was talking about Solomon, but even after that, it's the kingdom of Yahweh Shah Mashiach, which we know that he hasn't been able to enjoy that kingdom yet, but that is coming. You know, we ought to be joint heirs. It says, verse 13, it says, he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. See, so Solomon built that kingdom, that house. All right, and it said that but he would establish his throne forever, which we know that hasn't happened, because what, in prophecy Israel had to fall, but the Lord was never going to forsake us. All right, it says, I will be a father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. So if you can receive it, all right, Solomon was Yahweh Shah, because Solomon, he committed iniquity. We know that Yahweh Shah HaMashiach did no sin, but Yahweh Shah HaMashiach was beaten with the stripes of the children of men. You know, he was chastened by the rod of men. But how did Solomon go out, right? After the iniquity that he committed. Anyways, so it's talking about that same spirit, you know. It says, but check this out, but my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before thee. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee. Thy throne shall be established forever. All right, so that's what it is, man. That's the kingdom right there. All right, the same thing that he said unto Abraham. Okay, let me get that. This may be what he was talking to Moses, but talking about that promised land. Okay, Exodus 3:8 says, and I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and bring them out that land unto a good land, a good land and a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites and of the Hittites and the Amorites and the Perizzites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of Israel is come unto me, and I have seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. So still, let me see if I'm trying to think if I got a specific spot. Because you got the promises in Genesis 13, you know, where he told he would give all this land that's eastward, you know, to Abraham's seed forever, Abram. You know, but it's another one in Genesis 15. Let me see if this is the one I want from Abraham. So Abraham was promised a son in Genesis 15, but I'm trying to find out what I exactly want. The first promise. But, you know, they was just talking about it in Egypt, us being in Egypt, and he said that he was going to afflict us 400 years, that same seed, you know, in this chapter, Genesis the 15th chapter. And that they was going to have to come out, but maybe it's this one. Well, it's saying it right here, okay? It says, I'll get it. Genesis 15 and 18 says, in the same day, Yahweh made a covenant with Abraham, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the river of the Euphrates. The Kenites and the that word is killing me. Kenizzites and the Cadmonites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Rephaims and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Girgashites and the Jebusites. I shouldn't even read all that, you know, but just showing you how big and vast that land is that the Lord was giving Israel. I'm gonna have to skip some of these I had because the lesson a little longer than I wanted. But yeah, I believe the promise was started in like the 12th chapter, Genesis 12 or 13. All right. And this is the same promise that's been reiterated, man. Like I said, through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, man. Because that same promise, it was passed down to the children. All right. But he promised, you know, restoration after exile, you know, because he said that he wouldn't forsake us, man. You know, and that goes into this point too. The point that we're in now, you know, because right now we consider like a no people, man. We don't have a land of our own. That's why the scriptures refer to Israel as the fatherless. All right. No. Okay. I think that you could say 624. Where is it? Okay. All right, this is one. This is Ezekiel 36, verse 24. It says, for I will take you from among the heathen and gather you out of all countries and will bring you into your own land. Then will I sprinkle clean water upon you, and ye shall be clean. From all your filthiness and from all your idols will I cleanse you. A new heart also will I give you, and a new spirit will I put within you. And I will take away the stony heart out of your flesh, and I will give you an heart of flesh. And I will put my spirit within you and cause you to walk in my statutes, and ye shall keep my judgments and do them. And ye shall dwell in the land that I gave to your fathers, and ye shall be my people, and I will be your power. All right, and this is what has not happened yet. Okay, so that has to happen, and it's still to the same seed that he was, again, to their fathers, which we just read. We was reading all those. You know, it says, I will also save you from all your uncleanliness, and I will call for the corn, and I will increase it and lay no famine upon it. All right. And I will multiply the fruit of the tree. And this is how you know that when he's talking about the salvation and the promises, or being saved even, it's talking about being saved from what? This. The other nations, they didn't go through that. They already was unclean. They were never even made clean, man. You know? That's just who they are naturally. Verse 32, I'm just jumping down. It says, not for your sakes do I this, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yahshua, but be it known unto you, be ashamed and confounded for your own ways, O house of Israel. You know, so pretty much the Lord said he's doing this for him. And I'm going to go down again. It says, verse 36, Ezekiel 36, verse 36 says, then the heathen that are left round about you shall know that I, Yahweh, build the ruined places and plant that was that was desolate. I, Yahweh, have spoken it, and I will do it. Okay. Thus saith Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, I will yet for this be inquired by the house of Israel, the family of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock, as the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feast. So shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. And that's what you people fear. And again, the heathen know. The heathen is going to be round about it, and they're going to know it. You know, the Lord's going to let them know, all right, that he has loved us. You know, so I touched on those few things, man. You know, and he talks about how he said the corn is going to increase it. You know, that's a part of the blessings, man. You know, inheritance, substance. All right. You read Jeremiah 31st chapter, and it goes into that new covenant. Matter of fact, I gotta get it. Jeremiah 31 and 27. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast. And it shall come to pass that, like as I have watched over them, to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, saith Yahweh. Because yeah, the Lord, you know, he fought against us like an enemy, man. You know, but we were never consumed. All right. But he punished us. All right. But he's also going to bless us. He's going to build us up. It says, in those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten our sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eateth the sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, with which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their power, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have to teach our people to keep the laws like we're doing now, doing these videos, telling you to remember the law. You know, it's not going to be no confusion. You know, some people think the garments is, you got to have it on 24/7, you know, which it will be good, but we can't do that in our land. It's more for a spiritual thing, the spiritual garments, and it's to help you remember the laws. Excuse me. But in the kingdom of heaven, we're not going to have to do that. But the other nations, they're going to have to come to us. They're going to have to come to the government, you know, of Israel and learn of the ways of the Lord. This is how you know that it's not talking about all these other people. And the Lord deals with nations, man. You know, but in this terms, you know, like I said, we ain't going to be punished as a whole nation, nor saved as a whole nation. You know, the ones who don't want to follow, they're going to die in their iniquities. And the ones that's following the Lord, doing his will, he's going to deliver. You will be the ones that are of the elect. Now, this is the same covenant that's spoken of in the New Testament. You know, that y'all want to try to put for everybody. All right, Hebrews the 8th chapter. Which it says a more excellent ministry, a better covenant, which was established upon better promises. All right, but this Hebrews 8:7 says, for if the first covenant had been faultless, then should no place have been sought for the second, for finding fault with them. Again, talking about Israel, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not. And that's why we had this position, saith the Lord. All right, but it's saying the same thing. It's reiterating the same thing, you know. And he's talking about how he can be merciful unto us, man. But that's the whole new covenant. So, what are these people talking about? You know, that like at what point did the other nations just jump up in there? Okay, make it make sense. Drink this. All right, so like it. Oh man, I'm gonna get a couple more and I'm gonna close. You know, because I just want to get how the Lord is never going to forsake us, man. 1 Samuel 12:22 it says, for Yahweh will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it have pleased Yahweh to make you his people. All right, the Lord's he wasn't going to leave us in this fate forever, because that would make him a liar. But also the Lord is pleased to make us his people. The Lord loves us. That's why I say it pleased the Lord to bruise his son, to bring us back. Because the Lord's so holy that he couldn't even have that you know, relationship with us, man. It said, which covenant they break, though I was a husband to them. In the law, if a woman commits adultery on you, you're not even supposed to take her back. Here it is, the Lord is being merciful unto us, man. Jumping back in Jeremiah 33, because I wanted to read up. It says, verse 25, it says, thus saith Yahweh, if my covenant be not with day and night, and if I had not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I will not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy on them. Yeah, it's like I said, if you can search out the heavens above and the waters beneath, then will he cast away his people Israel. But you can't do it, man, no matter how much you try. All right, and Paul, who you say is the apostle of the Gentiles, which he is, but they say that's what let all the other nations in. This is what he says in Romans 11 verse 1. It says, I say then, hath the Most High cast away his people? God forbid, for I am also an Israelite, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. And guess what? He was also a Roman citizen. This is what you people don't understand, that we were scattered. That's why I was talking about that. That's why we became Gentiles. Anyways, it says, of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin, have the Most High have not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Wot ye not what the scripture saith of Elias, how he maketh intercession to the Most High against Israel's, you know? And then one of my favorite scriptures. One of my favorite scriptures is this in Romans the 9th chapter, because I mean it cuts it. It says, I'm gonna just start at 3. It says Romans 9:3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh. This is Paul saying that. You know, it says, who are Israelites, to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of the Most High and the promises. Okay, so Paul just said it, right? Who are Israelites? The promises, the adoption. You can't say you was adopted in. You know, the glory is all for Israel. The covenants, both of them, is for Israel. The giving of the law, you know, you never received this heritage, you know, and the services of the Most High and the promises, who are the fathers, and of whom concerning the flesh of Mashiach came, who is over all, the Most High blessed forever. Amen. You know, so again, it's so many more, you know, promises that I could get, but I just wanted to touch on those. Lord's will, that was edifying. Until the next lesson, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakal Gadash. The next one I want to say, Shalom.